But it will be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an airplane.
Yeah. So first, we will wait maybe a little to have people joining us, and then we will start. Okay. I will check. Yes. So the first thing, Bruno, I said to them that I will start in Catalan, making an introduction in Catalan, and then I will switch to English to start the debate and so on. Okay. So I don't know how many people is connected. Okay. So we already have people connected, yeah.
People?
Yeah. 7 viewers. Not too much, but it's something. Okay. Ok. Bé, doncs, benvingudes i benvinguts al tercer dels debats en cultura, un cicle de debats que estem organitzant des de Coincidències davant la nova situació que ens hem trobat amb el coronavirus. I creiem interessant com a gestors culturals plantejar-nos diferents línies de treball sobre quina manera ens queda a partir d'ara de fer cultura i sobretot partir des de la base de cultura de resistència per als nous temps, que és el que com hem anomenat el cicle de debats. Per aquest motiu vam trobar adient generar espais de diàlegs com aquest per poder trobar-nos, xerrar i per què no passar-nos-ho bé i reflexionar sobre el paper que ha de tenir la cultura en aquesta nova normalitat que ens sobrevola pels caps. Bé, com he dit, aquest projecte neix des de Coincidències, però està suportat gràcies a institucions com Fundació Catalunya Cultura i Institut Ramon Llull, així com també comptem amb la complicitat del tercer i amb l'inestimable col·laboració dels vins denominació d'origen Catalunya que ens acompanyaran durant aquest vermut. Jo ara m'estic prenent un vi blanc, a les blanques es diu, un garratxa, que ajudarà durant aquest moment de calor, ja que a Barcelona fa bastanta calor, doncs ajudarà a refrescar i a fer-ho més amè. Doncs abans de començar, tan sols em queda recordar que aquests debats els estem fent de manera gratuïta gràcies a la col·laboració d'aquestes entitats, però que hem obert una caixa de col·laboració a la nostra pàgina web per vosaltres perquè hi pugueu contribuir, perquè tota la recaptació que estem fent en aquests debats hem decidit destinar-la a la ONG proactiva Open Arms. Em cau el set. Dit això, em passaré a l'anglès, que serà l'idioma en què vehicularem aquest debat, així que per la gent que potser li costa més seguir, no patiu, que després de cada intervenció dels ponents intentaré fer un breu resum en català per intentar concretar i fer un empaque bonic amb les intervencions. Okay, now in English. I want to welcome, first of all, to the 4 professionals who are joining us today on this discussion. Thank you to accept and see the exciting part on doing this. I must say that though we are from different countries, we have a common bond, and that is not other than the fantastic European Rooftop Network. That this project started 1 year ago in Faro, where several projects from European cities which have that rooftop thing on it were brought together. And I would like to cheers for the project, to the project, because it was a great opportunity to meet you and start our journey. Yes, cheers. And also welcome, of course, all the audience that I hope we're having from around the globe, or at least from Europe. Thanks to join us. So the subject for today's debate is New Horizons for a Sustainable Europe, and that the discussion will work in the following way. Each of the participants was previously asked with 3 initial questions to set from, and that these questions are: which Europe can we perceive through the vantage point of the rooftops? How will ideas such as community, citizenship, territory, and border be redefined? And how can we articulate the new political, ecological, and cultural discourses? During the discussion, you can leave any questions that you have related to that on the live channel, to the live chat. And after each of the participants have spoken, we'll start a minute of Q&A. Shall we start? Yeah, perfect. Okay, the first one, I will start with Bruno. Bruno Ignacio, he was born and raised in the Algarve, and he directed several departments from several municipalities in the region of Algarve. He has a postgraduate degree in cities and urban cultures by the University of Coimbra, and at the present, he runs the cultural department of the municipality of Faro, and also coordinates the project team of Faro's candidacy for the European Capital of Culture 2027 title. So, Bruno, you have the word.
Thank you, Paul, and good morning, everyone. Good morning to Marina, Leon, Alan, and everyone who's watching us in Catalonia and everywhere around Europe and the world. I don't know where are the viewers from, but of course we have several, I'm sure, persons watching us all over the world. So it's very good to be here with you in this conversation. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to always speak about this theme with some good friends that we've met in the last couple of months or years. So trying to give some context to what Coincidències asked us to speak about in this web forum. We were launched. We were given 3 major questions, and the first one was about how which Europe or which new perspectives for Europe can we see, or can we probably see after this from rooftops? And of course, we all in this panel have different experiences. Some of us are more related to rooftops in the last couple of years. Some of us are newcomers to this, like me. So I would like to stress out 4 big points. I would like to stress out the idea of the new urban planning as when you go up and you start looking at the city as in the new perspective, there's always a good. I always hope there's like a change in mindset when you start to understand the city in a level above, and you can see it how it's organized, and try to understand it in a different way, because we are usually looking at city from below and at the ground level. So I guess there's one of the new perspectives is the new urban planning. The other one is well, I guess rooftops can give us more green cities in a way that there are excellent spaces for developing projects for greener cities in different perspectives, in terms of energy, in terms of landscape, in terms of enjoying the urban center of the city in a greener way. And also, I would like to stress out the idea of community. We all, or most of the people who live in cities live in the big blocks of apartments, and that brought us new perspectives in the last decades, and I always feel that rooftops has the possibility of bringing people together somehow, and they usually live together in the same blocks and they don't know each other. So rooftops are a good way and a good space for people to meet each other and reinforce the idea of community. And the fourth and the last one, I always like to talk about this idea, how cultural can help the three of the other ideas that I said before. And I think cultural can be the cement and could be the glue of the other three things. And there's always cultural is always a good idea, so I think that's also a good thing to develop in terms of rooftops. Then I'm trying to be very I have like only 5 minutes, probably like one now. So the other thing that Paul told us is to talk about a little bit of redefining the idea of community, citizenship, and territory. Well, I don't really know, and I don't know if anyone knows after what we are going through in speaking specifically about this moment in history. I don't think no one actually knows what's going to happen next, because we don't know when and how it's going to be the next phase. So it's hard to understand how can we will redefine these big ideas of citizenship and community and also borders. This coronavirus showed us that there are no borders. Just a simple and very microscopical virus shows that the borders are not they don't actually exist. But the first thing that the world did, or one of the first things, was close borders. So we closed Europe, we closed our countries to stop spreading the virus, but the virus, well, he doesn't respect borders. So that's something I'm reflecting nowadays. I don't know what's going to happen next, but the new speech around these ideas, or the new political or ecological ideas that will come out of this crisis, are something that are very interesting. We need to understand which impact this is going to have. We are living it at the moment, so we have the impact of nowadays, but we don't know what's going to happen in 2 months or 6 months or 1 year. So we need to have some time to understand this better. And then I think the new speech will come out at that time, but I don't know if there's going to be a new speech, because we are talking about a crisis that everyone hopes that will pass, and it will end someday, but I'm not quite sure that the main speech in Europe or in the different parts of the world, but let's talk about Europe, will change that much. There's a lot of entities at the moment, universities, cities, that are doing studies on what's happening and what's the opinion of people nowadays. But I actually think we need some perspective on this. Of course, that's what I think. But I would like is that after this we could have a more greener speech. We could have a different speech through communities, and also, and most important, by accepting each other more. Unfortunately, we see a lot of world leaders with some dividing speeches, and I don't think that's the best way forward. And I would really love or really like that this crisis could show us ways of bringing us more together, because it shows that the human life is very vulnerable and we are all together in this small boat called Earth. So I don't want to be that romantic or lyric, but let's hope that after all of this disgrace and this terrible thing we are passing through, that people can be more together, and let's hope Europe, as it always did, can lead the way on and the new perspectives and new good perspectives.
Perfect.
Thank you.
That's perfect. The perfect way to end your speech. So I'm going to sum up a few things that you said, that you, Bruno, said in Catalan, okay? And then we'll have with Marina. We're following with Marina. Bé, doncs jo amb el que em quedo, amb el que em quedo del que ha dit el Bruno, és amb la perspectiva, no, que es poden contemplar des dels terrats sobre el canvi en la mentalitat de les ciutats, sobre la planificació urbana, que hem començat a contemplar les ciutats des d'una altra perspectiva. Estàvem acostumats a veure-les des de sota, en punt de vista vianant, però a mesura de l'última dècada, les ciutats, no tan sols Barcelona, sinó ens vam adonar, de fet, arrel de la trobada Faro, que eren moltes ciutats que contemplaven els terrats amb una idea, des d'un punt de vista similar amb el que nosaltres contemplàvem els terrats a Barcelona. I la idea de comunitat, que és un lema que utilitzem moltes vegades, que és que els terrats, el bringing people together, no? Que ajunten les persones, i això ho enllaço amb l'ús històric que utilitzàvem, que les cultures mediterrànies utilitzaven els terrats, i això el festival de Sotella que munten des de l'Ajuntament de Faro també partia des d'aquesta base de l'ús històric i social dels terrats, que amb el pas del temps havia caigut en desús, i utilitzar la cultura i el discurs cultural de cobertes verdes i de tornar a fer pujar a la gent al terrat. I pel que fa al territori, també m'agradaria destacar el fet de que veiem que el coronavirus no entén de fronteres, però tot i així els països el que han fet és tancar fronteres, i això l'impacte que generarà i els nous discursos que sortiran a partir d'aquí, i la importància de mantenir-nos junts tot i el distanciament, perquè ens deixa en una posició força vulnerable, i crec que és el moment de mantenir-nos, encara que físicament estem separats, emocionalment més junts que mai. Okay, so the next one to speak will be Marina. Marina Kyriakou is an architect and urban planner based in Nicosia. Her research and practice are focused on public spaces and placemaking, and she's also actively promoting sustainable and inclusive mobility, as well as nature-based solutions in her city. She's a member of the organization Urban Gorillas, and since October, she founded the Green Roof Optimization Work Lab, GROW, and an initiative that aims to reconvert the flat roof of the city in elevated community gardens and sociocultural hubs. So please, Marina.
Okay. Thank you, Paul, and I'm very happy and I feel very grateful to be in this discussion with you, especially with the topic of rooftops. And I'm happy to be in this conversation between Faro, Antwerp, Barcelona, Rotterdam, and Nicosia. So we somehow connect the west and the east of Europe and the south to the north. And especially for us in Nicosia, this unique place of rooftops has been an inspiration for us, because they allow us to dream of a continuous layer of elevated community spaces in a city that can somehow communicate across the dividing wall that separates our country in two parts. So this place of rooftops offers a unique experience that on the one hand, it allows us to distinguish what is here and what is there, but also it allows us to connect what is here with what is over there. So in Europe, we can see very different cultures relating to rooftops and also balconies that depend on the architectural heritage, on the historic and social backgrounds, also the weather conditions of every city. But during the lockdown, we saw through social media how people in different cities they use these spaces for playful communication to connect with what they cannot reach, but yet they can see. So I think that now it's a very important opportunity after this circulation limitations that we experienced. Is a great opportunity to exchange our knowledge and our experiences around the use of rooftops, but also is very important to focus on how our specific contexts can reinvent their cities from the rooftop level. So it's a perfect moment to reimagine how European cities can dialogue with the sky, and how by seeing our cities from the rooftop level, we can reimagine the spaces and the places that we already know. So I think that it's important now to focus also on how to build stronger local communities and resilient social structures. The spaces of rooftops offer this unique opportunity because at the same time they're outside, but they're at home or in a private space. So they're public, exposed, but at the same time they're somehow protected. So they're great places for physical distancing, but also for social closeness if we use them correctly. They always offer the unique sense of freedom because you can breathe the fresh air, and they allow us to interact with our neighborhood, to meet people who live in the proximity, and to, in a way, bring more diversity into our daily life and the way that we use the different spaces in the city. So I think that rooftops are unique borders in our city that bring people together, like Bruno said and you said in your introduction. And they have this unique element that you can access the city life whenever you feel more sociable by going on the rooftop, but you can withdraw from it whenever you feel more reserved. So I think it's very important now to include rooftops into our political, cultural, and environmental discourses because of all these new opportunities that they offer. They can allow us to innovate the way that we experience the city from the rooftop level. And they can, in a way, also enhance the local governance. Maybe we can see a new trend in placemaking for rooftops, or new sorts of way to bring people participate in projects in these unique open air spaces that are somehow hidden in most cities. So yeah, I think that the COVID highlighted these gaps that exist nowadays, and they also brought our attention to the values, the priorities of our social organization, because we saw that actually life is more important than the economy and the comfort that transport offers us, or technology offers us, or consumption. So really the interaction between humans is something that we need to focus at this moment.
Yeah. Thank you, Marina. Bé, amb el que... L'experiència de la Marina, a nosaltres ens va sobtar moltíssim el fet de contemplar per això ens agrada que participi i doni el seu punt de vista, perquè trobàvem que el projecte que ella organitza a Nicòsia tenia un factor molt important que era el fet els terrats elevaven la xarxa comunitària per sobre del nivell de terra que estava separat per una frontera, per una divisió de territori, que és el cas de la situació de Xipre. Aleshores, ens agradava molt aquesta vessant social i, a part de cultural, de medi ambient, que tracta, però sobretot el punt de vista aquest de la realitat i el factor real que tenen els terrats sobre el territori. I el fet, també m'he apuntat el fet que arrel del Covid-19 s'ha vist que les persones han pujat als terrats, han redescobert els terrats d'una manera o una altra i, tot i mantenir les distàncies, s'ha vist que es crea una xarxa de comunitat, de relació amb les veïnes i els veïns, i que només queda per potenciar, ja que arrel d'aquesta crisi sanitària s'ha potenciat l'ús dels terrats, ara és el moment d'acabar de donar una empenta a nivell de medi ambient, cultura, per treballar sobretot el tema de crear comunitat i la resiliència en l'estructura social de les ciutats. Sí, so thank you for your contribution, Marina. The next to participate will be Helene. Helene from Antwerp. She has a long trajectory in the cultural and sociocultural field in Antwerp. She's a cultural policy maker and a manager of several public libraries and cultural centers in vulnerable neighborhoods in the city of Antwerp. And her specialty is creation of meaning in empty areas. Throughout a multidisciplinary approach, arts and culture, community activities, youth activities, large-scale events, etc. The Rooftop Festival she's managing, you will understand that is completely in line with her expertise. So, Helene, whenever you want.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me and to be able to join this interesting discussion on rooftops. A lot of things have already been said by Marina and Bruno. I want to add a small number of things. I think we cannot talk about rooftop these days without mentioning the current crisis that we are all in. I think the Corona crisis shows us, as the others already have told, that the rooftop is the opportunity in urban areas to create some sort of rescue for all those examples of not so successful urban planning from the past. If you look at social housing in Antwerp these days, where a lot of families are actually locked themselves in because they are disinformed and they don't dare to come out even if we don't have a total lockdown. But also the rooftops are not accessible anymore because of safety reasons, then we have a problem. Even if the architect provided rooftops as public space in the 60s when these buildings were built, then it shows us, like, if we have to create opportunities for people with lower incomes, then the rooftop is one way out. Secondly, what I thought was remarkable, we were always talking about limitations on public space, and at the same time in the media, especially social media, our whole lives were around private space. What we were doing inside our house, how we were spending time, etc., etc. But it's now with the exit strategy that we're all having, it shows also that people are really dying to get back to the third space, the semi-public space. And then what does the economy offer? It's shops, and then you realize people really are not waiting for shops to open, because that's the last thing on their mind now. We were all economically organizing ourselves through online shopping, etc. Nobody cares about the shops. So you realize if we want to get back together, we will have to create meaningful third space. And in that sense, also the roof is the way out, I think. Thirdly, since I, as well as Bruno, worked for a local government called the City of Antwerp, more than ever, it's an opportunity to not only organize a festival, because that's unsure, but I think the most interesting trajectory for my city was that there's an awareness created on all levels of policy organization, policy creation, social planning, culture, social work, youth work, sports, etc. If that's actually the only thing that I have been doing lately, is talk with a lot of civil servants, a lot of politicians on the elements of rooftops. And it's a new, for me, it could be internally, but for me, I think even on a European level, it's interesting that this is really a topic that concerns all domains. And it's a new way to bind all these different departments on the city level, to bind them together. And then my last point is, it's not only a binding project if you look at the way a city is organized on a local government, but it's for Antwerp specifically, it's a new binding project to involve all citizens. Like it's an opportunity to do new bottom-up thinking, because if you look at our other very much bottom-up project that is now going to be one of the most biggest spatial planning projects throughout Europe. It's the roof on top of the ring that we are going to build and will be finished in 2030. It's a pity because my parents will not be among us anymore to see it, but it actually started as a citizens project that they came with this crazy idea, like, this ring is annoying us, why don't we put something on it? And I think the whole rooftop theme has the same power to involve all citizens, not only on a community level, but also to put it on the public agenda and to make it part of the policy agenda. But through small actions, exactly as the way that the rooftop on the ring started. It was just silly people doing silly actions to say, we don't like the noise, the traffic, etc. anymore. And they did small scale actions. And I think now with the Rooftop Festival, we have exactly the same opportunity. So for us, it's quite important to not create an image building of the city of Antwerp is organizing a rooftop festival. For me, it's an aim to make it a bottom-up project, and all media can help us. Social media, small things. The Rotterdamse dakdingen now is for me also very inspiring, because any action that you do is adding up to the awareness among the citizens, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. A veure, que ara em toca traduir. que a mi, el que m'he apuntat així paraules claus del que ha dit la Helene és el tema de els terrats com a espai democratitzador i com a espais d'emergència, de rescat d'aquelles persones més vulnerables en situació vulnerable arrel d'aquesta crisi sanitària, social, econòmica, etc. El paper dels terrats, no? Com a espai de rescat d'aquesta gent. El significat dels espais semipúblics, d'obrir nous espais per a la ciutadania. I l'exemple, no, que ha ficat sobre el festival i el projecte que la ciutat d'Anvers està organitzant a través d'una coberta verda per la ronda que envolta la ciutat d'Antwerp i el que suposa un projecte de bottom-up i sobre la nova manera de fer política, polítiques culturals, de joventut, socials, etc. What I like of this panel is that each of you have a different perspective on the rooftop, and I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful on the social, cultural, territory and urban planning. I think that's wonderful. I was saying this. So the last one will be Leon, and after Leon, the speech of Leon, we will have the Q&A. So please, if you have any questions and anything you want to put on the table, please leave the comments on the live chat, and my colleagues will send me the questions. So we'll be able to discuss between the professionals here. So Leon van Gist is educated as an industrial design engineer. He worked many years as a design entrepreneur, but by accident became owner of a guided tour company and became involved with city development in Rotterdam. In 2014, he started the Rotterdam Rooftop Days, and in 2019, as data, the festival attracted 22,000 people to over 65 rooftops all over Rotterdam. He also works as a moderator in public debates about culture and city development issues. Yeah, so the Rooftop Days in Rotterdam is a large-scale event, and I think that's a thing that we, the people from Barcelona, we amazed a lot with this. To be able to involve so many rooftops on the festival.
Well, thank you, Paul, for this introduction. I'm very happy to be here with my colleagues as I see you. Well, like Paul said, we started 6 years ago with just one idea of the uses of rooftops, and especially in Rotterdam, we have been a bombed city in the Second World War. And we got rebuilt in a modernist way. So we had a lot of flat rooftops. So there was a lot of opportunity. But most of all, like all modern cities, Rotterdam is a densifying city. So we're building all the inner city with new buildings. And there's no space left for people to interact or for green to let the city breathe. And that came together with the opportunity of the flat roofs that we have. And we saw it as a way for people to interact, for the city to breathe again and to cool down, but also to bring back things as local agriculture or self-sufficient energy supplies. And like Helene said, it concerns all domains, which is really nice. It came together. But apart from that, it's just great being on a rooftop. And I have no urban skills to see that in an architectural way, but when you are on a rooftop, you see that it has great intrinsic value. It has a quality of air and wind and a view. You can in the city you can see the horizon again, which is very important for a lot of people. It's just a nice place to be. So you have a very nice place to be, which concerns all domains. Well, then things comes together, and that has means to celebrate. So we started the festival, which, no, as you mean, it's we are very happy. By the way, it is growing, and we were very happy then to find new colleagues. That it wasn't only our idea, but also in Faro and Nicosia and in Antwerp and in Oslo and in Germany and all places, they were busy with the same idea. And it's almost like the invention of print, which was on different parts in Europe. They invented printing, and in different parts of Europe we invented what we can do with rooftops. But now suddenly we came in this different time as Europe as a whole, and like Marina also stated, suddenly the rooftops got even a bigger quality, because I liked what you said, Marina, about that it's not only social distancing but also social closeness, what it's very good for. You can get the intimacy of rooftop together, and it's the perfect place to be in times of quarantine. Because in cities, not all peoples have private gardens where they can be in. You have your own rooftop where you can hang out. And I think it's also it's not a hard conclusion or conspiracy theory when you say that the whole coronavirus has something to do with the way we have been living for the last decades. And that's something that Bruno pointed out. And I think we have to rethink that. And we are also now in a kind of pause situation where we are able to rethink how we are going to rebuild. Or like Helen said, are we going to shop again? Or do we search for that new space? And that's a global thing. And I really like the thought of the rooftop being an extension of public space. And of course, that public space then needs to be inclusive, needs to be a space to connect to each other. And someone who of our festival once said that maybe the rooftop is not a thing like that's on top of your house, but it's the same like public space is not a square, but it's a thought. We know what public space is, and maybe we should also think in that way about rooftops. A rooftop is an idea of an extension of that public space, and not only the thing. And in that way, I think it's also bigger than the private space it is always considered as. And through that idea, we can connect. And that's what I feel when I see those people and we work on the same program. And there's our exit strategy. That's the roof is the way out, like Helen said, I think. And one thing is very important for us as an organization, that we're not a festival organization. We organize a festival, but that's a means to an end. We are actually a non-governmental organization to stimulate the use of rooftops. And so we don't have to do a festival. We only have to stimulate people to use their rooftops. So now, like Helen pointed out, we have this roof toppings, as we call them. And yesterday we went online with a program with more than 20 different things we can do on rooftops, and we show what you can do with rooftops. And we're, well, in a way, we're even more inspired to tell about the gospel of rooftop usage. So, and I think we should keep on doing that. And all the expertise we have had in the last years is not wasted. It was just a beginning of something we could really use now in Europe.
Okay, thank you, Leon, for your intervention. Sí, amb el que... no. Sí, jo crec que del que ha dit el Leon, m'ha agradat molt la idea no, també com a mètode de conclusió i d'ajuntar les idees que han anat sorgint en aquest debat, sobre introduir la identitat dels terrats en el pensament d'espais urbans utilitzables a partir d'ara, d'aquesta nova situació, d'aquesta nova normalitat que ens vola pels caps. Cal pensar ser capaços de repensar la ciutat, de repensar els espais i l'ús dels espais, i els terrats ofereixen una molt bona alternativa com a espais semipúblics, com ha dit l'Aileen. I així com també la nostra tasca de les organitzacions que estem aquí reunides sobre estimular l'ús dels terrats a través dels nostres festivals. No és només el fet d'organitzar activitats, sinó a través d'aquestes activitats culturals, socials, de cobertes verdes, etc., estimular-ne l'ús de la ciutadania i poder ser capaços de repensar les ciutats a través dels terrats. So, now it's time for the questions. I don't know if there is any question on the live chat. And if no, we have a minute to talk on the situation and with all the with what happened with each respective festival on your cities, or if you want to add something new on the table, so please.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit what happened with us and share some of the. So in Portugal, all of the festivals until September, end of September of this year, were cancelled by the government. So it's not possible to do a festival during the next couple of months, and that happened a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. But before that, most of the festival organizers were already stopped planning and canceling by their own decision the festivals, because it was not possible to do it. We did the same. We did cancel the festival for this year, and we are thinking on taking this time to reactivate some discussion groups in the city that were created last year when we had the company of some international guests, which we got together with some local entrepreneurs, local architects, urban planners, several different kinds of people. And we are planning to reactivate those groups so that we could spend the next couple of months discussing on the specific ideas around this theme, so we could understand if we can draw some strategical idea for the future in terms of the use of these spaces. There are a lot of ideas that are going on at this moment that are linking also with the perspective of running for the European Capital of Cultural Title. And we hope that this time could help us on reflect more on these spaces too. So that's what's happening around here.
Okay, thank you, Bruno. So we have one question. So Anna Ulinet says, do you think that public organisms or the administration is financing enough or putting enough efforts to rooftop initiatives? I don't know if you want Leon to as a association, private organization that works together with the city of Rotterdam, and maybe then Helena or Bruno can answer the same question on the public point of view.
Can you repeat the question once more?
Yeah. Do you think that public organisms or the administration is financing enough or putting enough efforts to rooftop initiatives?
Well, enough's always a debatable thing. I'm very happy in Rotterdam that we actually have people who are only concerned with rooftops. So we're very blessed with that, and they're doing a great thing. But they're always they have to provide the conditions so we can do all the things we have to do, and the proof of the pudding in the end is with the communication and interaction with all the entrepreneurs in the city to actually start using the rooftops. And I think, again, I'm very happy that we have all the people who do the hard work, and we have done a lot together. But is it, in my opinion, enough? No. We can do a lot more, and we can do it in more creative ways and give. Now it's always, we're still thinking with the municipality in what is possible now. Look, these are the conditions, and this is how we work. But it would be really great to think about what do we actually want, and what do we need to change in our policy to make that work. And instead of seeing what the policy is now and what we can do within that policy. And I would like to think ahead and make new policy, and even make stimulating policy to rooftop usage.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah, thank you. Marina, do you want to add something on the private side of the question?
Yeah, I wouldn't say private, I would say more bottom up and like social organization in order to achieve something. In our case, we didn't have public support so far, and it shows that there is this like a perception that is not helping people to make the step towards something more functional, multifunctional when it comes to rooftops. So people are afraid to use the rooftop for something else than technological or ecological solutions. So when it comes to bringing people to have fun or to enjoy a performance, or they have all these fears regarding accessibility, privacy, which are valid arguments. Of course, people have very valid reasons to be afraid of these things, but what we want to have is an opportunity to solve these problems and to go beyond these problems so that we can innovate in this situation. So in our case, we definitely don't have enough support and not enough financial in any case. But that's why we are trying to do this, because the fact that this is very bottom up shows also the beauty of spaces. Because of course you need to come in contact with entrepreneurs, like it was said, and entrepreneurs and private owners. So we hope that one day we will be able to host a festival, like Leon said, that is a means to an end. It's not about having a festival once a year, but it's also about building that culture. And by having some people who support this idea, some building owners or some private or public owners of buildings who support these ideas and allow us to use for a few hours or a few days the rooftop, then you gradually build that culture, and hopefully can have at some point a policy change or system change around this topic.
Yeah, I think. Thank you, Marina. I don't know if Helene or Bruno want to add something on the point of view of the city government.
Say that we are hardly, by the central city government, we are hardly supported. We are just supported only by the local districts for this festival, because they see the opportunity to show their own district in a different way. But central government, they think it's fun and they think it's playful, but they see it as an extra, and it's a lot of hard work to get more money. I don't want to talk about it more. or my weekend is very turning bad.
I can say something too. Well, for those people who are organizing things, money is never enough. So that's a starting point for something. But like my colleague said, well, I think everyone is, when we are doing this kind of initiatives, we are always thinking of a bigger goal. And of course, it's very important that people go and come to the festivals and go to the rooftops at those days, but there's always a bigger goal on this. And the bigger goal is, well, just start using it and on your daily basis, on your regular life. So if as Anna said on her question, well, I must say that we have been very enthusiastic with the idea. So here in Faro, the municipality was very dedicated to it. So it was never possible if the municipality didn't put a lot of effort on making this happen. And we understand that this is a long process that we just started last year, that we are not doing this year, the actual festival. So there's a path to go through, and I hope that this could go on for many years, but be more than the actual festival or the money that we will need to do the festival in those particular days. What concerns me more in a good perspective is, can we stick it and make it a thing that people start thinking about it, start reflecting on it, and does it have some mind changings and mindset effect in a medium long term? In the medium and long term. So that's what I think it's more important. And well, when you are a creative person, I guess money is not that important, but well, everyone needs money to do things. So
okay, thank you. Yeah, I think money is the first thing that comes to mind for the private and social organizations. Yeah, and yeah, just to end the debate.
But Paul, can I just say, sorry, can I just say something on this too? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Because I must say something, and I'm sorry, Lee, and I'm going to talk about my experience in Rotterdam, because when I was there in the festival, we had the opportunity of going to one of the sites where a rope walker was going to connect two buildings, and at that site there was a lot of private owners and entrepreneurs that were there watching, and I had the opportunity of speaking with some of them. And well, there's always some idea, pre-concept idea, that there's always the public part and the private part, and the private guys are the guys that just want to earn the money. And well, I don't like to see things that's that much black and white. And I'm just saying this because when I was there and I was talking with those people, of course there were businessmen and businesswomen there, and they're making their lives, but I felt genuinely that they were really interesting on developing the idea of the use of rooftops in a genuine way. Of course, there's always been business on that, and that's not bad if it's fair. But I really felt that there was a genuine interest on the private part on doing it, and it was not just the public guys who were trying to do something. So I had that experience. I have to share this here with you. I don't know if Leon agrees with this perspective, but I felt it there.
Leon, you're muted. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I agree very much. And one of the important things that we do to connect not only with the municipality but with all the project developers and the entrepreneurs who actually have to do it. We have a rooftop club, and then we invite them every 3 months because they don't have much time, and we have a glass of wine. We have some interesting architect speakers or policymakers which they find interesting to meet in a more informal way. So we provide a kind of informal way of meeting each other, and they do that anyway, but we see to it that they have the rooftop as a discussion point, and also in their heads let the word or the idea rooftop be a happy, good, sustainable idea. So the next time they develop a project, they say to the architect, okay, why didn't you develop the rooftop? Or when they see an old building and want to redevelop, okay, let's also do the rooftop, because in their head we have made sure that the whole idea of rooftops is a good one.
Okay, just the last question, and I really want a really short answer because we are out of time. So that is, for Leon and Bruno talk about their festivals and the projects on 2020, but for Helena and Marina, if you want to say about what happens on your projects this year, and if it makes sense to keep doing these projects on the new situations that we're facing. A really short answer, please. If you want to see Marina, start.
Of course, it makes sense. Yeah, of course it makes sense. We have lived like 3 months in lockdown, and a lot of us didn't have access to an open air space. And this was only a short example for us, but for other people, this lack of accessibility and this exclusion from this type of open air public spaces is actually their reality before the lockdown anyway. So in Nicosia, we are still trying a lot to raise awareness around the opportunities that come with using the rooftop for other reasons. Currently, more into the ecological and environmental potential of rooftops. So now my team that I'm working with, we are trying to create a rooftop garden as the first public accessible rooftop garden in the country. And we are, of course, slowly growing a network of rooftop lovers who want to join the movement. And so we are building up our network, and we are chasing opportunities to make this thing happen. Short enough?
I just want to add, it makes sense because it's something to look forward to, even if we're never going to be sure if this festival in the 3rd weekend of September will actually happen. The good thing, a new extra for us, is that the biggest, as I told Paul before, the biggest house of performing arts in Antwerp, the Single, wants to be a structural partner in the Dakan Festival, because they're not only because they have a special building with a very, at the time, a very future-thinking architect, but they want to make it a discourse, the whole sustainable discourse. They want to make it like a thread throughout their artistic program. So the new head of the Single really declared he wants to be a structural partner, and that's why we will have the opening night there. And the next years they want to do a knowledge day with all the domains involved: urban planning, spatial planning, and cultural and arts, all in one day. So that's something to look forward to.
Really good to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, we have just one comment that says this for Leon and Helene, that for the Northern Europe, that Nuria Bulta, who works in the Institute, Catalan Institute in Brussels, said that that it's amazing how cities, non-Mediterranean cities, which have the social using of the rooftops on their mindsets, are using the rooftops. And in the case of Brussels, that the rooftops are close to the use of the citizenship, and is amazing how cities in the same characteristics of Brussels and close to Brussels have different mindsets on the use of rooftops.
To me, oh, sorry.
No. Yeah, please.
To me, it's quite unclear yet what all the actions are in Brussels, because I never have enough time to exchange. It's sort of a stupid thing to say, but I think the fact that we're all evolving to a Mediterranean climate really put it higher on the agenda. I'm sorry.
It's a very smart thing to say. It is.
We're all Mediterranean countries. Yeah. Okay. So thank you all, and for all the participants that joined us in this debate. It was a pleasure to see you again. The last time we met was in Rotterdam in November, and in the case of Marina, it was even more time ago. Yeah, in Faro in January 2019. Yeah. And also thank you to all the people who are watching us through the YouTube channel. I hope you found this debate interesting. For me, it was so much interesting. And let me remember that these debates are free, but that we have a solidarity fund in our website, that all the money we manage to raise during the 4 debates will go fully to the NGO Open Arms. I només em queda per recordar que la setmana que ve a les 12 en aquest mateix canal tindrem l'últim dels debats en cultura. Tornarem a posar el focus al local, o si més no a Catalunya, i parlarem, acompanyades de també unes fantàstiques ponents, sobre els nous vectors per les arts escèniques a Catalunya. Ara sí, cheers. Salut i cultura. Cheers, my friends. Yep. Cheers, Marina.
We have 2 Marinas.
Yeah. One is not good enough.